not floating in circles, no destination. Got a telescope pointing at dreams, no constellation. Every Monday a supernova, burning bright and loud. By Thursday I'm just dark matter, invisible in the crowd. Red giant ambitions when the morning light appears, but I collapse into a black hole when resistance interferes. Motion ain't progress when it's spinning in the void. I'm cosmically busy, but my purpose is destroyed. Started 17 novels, 40 businesses, 10 brands. Built a galaxy of blueprints with these restless hands. The dopamine hits harder than dark energies pull, but execution needs commitment in my tank. So no, I'm addicted to the launch pad, never stick the landing. Got it where God full of concepts that were once outstanding. Confusing activity with achievements, my disease. I'm a master at the starting line, but I never cease. Motion, motion, but I'm standing still. Starting, but I never will. Cross the event horizon where the work gets real, where the glamour dies and grinding's all you feel. Motion, motion, intellectual waste. Starting, never finishing the race. I'm a collector of beginnings, that's my only skill. Motion ain't progress and it never will. Lunar phases of excitement, waxing full then gone. Every project's just a preview, never make it to the dawn. I'm the king of preparation, plan until I'm paralyzed. Galaxy cluster with riches that would never realize. The jungle doesn't celebrate the harder with ideas. It crowns the one who executes the boring weeks and years, but I'm seduced by novelty, the shiny object syndrome. Every new beginning feels like I've already won, and the marking doesn't feel the motion, only finished goods. My resume's a forest full of hypothetical words. I confuse the best, starting with the badge of completion. Niche abandoned dreams, another act of self-deception. Wanna be hunted, but I'm dancing in between, collecting participation trophies that can't be seen. The tediousness of execution makes my spirit fade, but luck is all built on enthusiasm's masquerade. The difference between motion and progress. Motion is the treadmill, progress is the miles. Motion is the meeting, progress is the outcome. Motion is the journal entry, progress is the change. Starting feels like winning, but mattering requires finishing, and finishing requires suffering through the unglamorous, undopamine fueled, monotonous middle, where boys become men and collectors become creators. Motion, motion, but I'm standing still. Starting, but I never will. Cross the event horizon where the work gets real, where the glamour dies and grinding's all you feel. Motion, motion, intellectual wife. Starting, never finishing the race. No more collector of beginnings, that's the pill. Turn this motion into progress, big MAINFRAME. From red giant to supernova, burn complete this time. When the telescope to touching it, make the melt of mine. Dark energy won't push me from the path I need to walk. Discipline needs dopamine execution talk. Make it matter now. Break the sacred vow to never quit the middle, where the heroes all are made. Let the motion fade. The bunker of your mind. There's a museum nobody visits. Row after row of unfinished masterpieces. Each one a monument to the moment excitement died. And discipline never showed up for the siege. Come on. Hey, hey, hey. Another sunrise, another grand designer sketched in the margins where the good intentions shine. You build your castles made of morning inspiration, but by the afternoon it's just another compilation of half-read books and courses left to chapter 3. Downloaded dreams collecting dust digitally. You are a general who plans but never fights, architect of blueprints that never see the light. The dopamine hits when the idea is born, but execution feels like walking through a storm. You mistake the starting gun for the finish line, confusing motion sickness with a mountain climb. Welcome to the graveyard of abandoned dreams, from monuments to distractions split at the seams. You've got the armor but you won't sessions like they're pieces of art. 1 week it's code and next week it's a blog. Then it's pottery, drop shipping, training for a marathon jog. The shiny object syndrome got you in a chokehold. Every notification is an ambush on your soul. You say you're exploring, keeping options wide, but really you're just running, got nowhere to hide. The truth cuts deep like a tactical blade. You're addicted to the scent, I'm terrified of the trade. The Monday repetition and mastery demands. You want the trophy but won't polish your hands. 300 tabs, open 17 apps installed. Productivity data, why your thoughts response. You're not busy, you're just scared. That commitment needs the fantasy, it's right there. Welcome to the graveyard of abandoned dreams. From monuments to distractions, split at the seams. You got the armor but you won't enter the fight. Special forces training, watch you never hold the line. This is sabotage from the inside out. A siege against yourself, full of fear and doubt. Surrender to the trenches, to the boring work. Or watch your legacy become the dirt. The cemetery grows with every passing year. More tombstones carved, but maybe and next time I swear. But greatness isn't built on possibility. It's forged in the furnace of discipline monotony. That'll haunt you late at night when novelty is faded and there's no dopamine in sight. We be the soldier who stings after the parade, or just another casualty in the war you never made. The bunker's getting crowded with the ghosts of what could be. Each one whispers softly about your lost velocity, but it ain't fragility means standing through the grind, building mental fortress walls, one boring brink at a time. Step out of the graveyard of abandoned dreams. Stop building monuments to distraction schemes. Put on your armor and commit to the fight. Be the special forces holding through the night. No more sabotage from the inside out, and the siege against yourself, erase the doubt. Surrender to the trenches, embrace the boring work. Turn your legacy from graveyard into the choice is yours, Commander. Will you finish what you started? Once it's that, another headstone to the yard. Deep focus. Mental fortress. One day at a time. One day at a time. Let me tell you about evolution, gentlemen. In nature, organisms either adapt or had become fossils. Your nervous system craves the cocaine rush of novelty. New projects, fresh starts, clean slates. But completion? That requires different DNA entirely. The question isn't whether you have ideas. The question is, are you predator or prey? I got 70 folders marked revolutionary. Each one a corpse in my digital cemetery. The tissue of ambition rots so beautifully. When you mistake the starting gun for victory, I'm a parasite feeding on my own potential, extracting dopamine hits, nothing consequential. My genetics wired for the chase, not the kill. Competition with myself, but I never come to heal. New beginnings feel like oxygen, but finishing feels like dying slow. My nervous system screams for more, while graveyards of projects grow and grow. I'm built for the hunt, but I can't digest the meat. Natural selection, culling visions incomplete. The predator in me is starving on the floor, cause I fell in love with opening doors. Now walking through, I'm headed for extinction if I don't evolve tonight. Movement is in progress when you're running from the fight. The organism that encoded in my brain. Dopamine receptor malfunction, pleasure over pain. Every new idea's a hit, execution is withdrawal. I'm an addict for beginners, watch the empire fall. Competition with completion, I'm losing every round. Nervous system hijacked by the novel and profound. Tissue deep addiction to the fantasy and more. While the predators will finish, I settle in the score. Natural selection doesn't care about your dreams. Only results, only output, only quantifiable means. I'm collecting starting lines like trophies on a shelf. Meanwhile, extinction whispers, you're defeating yourself. The grind is where the weak reveal the hand. I fall before the river every time. Confusing motion with momentum is the greatest corporate crime. Built for the hunt, but I can't digest the meat. Natural selection, culling visions incomplete. The predator in me is starving on the floor, cause I fell in love with opening doors. Now walking through, I'm headed for extinction if I don't evolve tonight. Movement is in progress when you're running from the fight. The organism that can finish what it starts is just a parasite consuming its own heart. The boardroom of my mind is a vote between the thrill of new and the discipline of done. But shareholders don't pay for potential, they pay for profit concrete one by one. A tissue of my credibility is torn. My genetics scream for comfort, not for war. But evolution favors those who can't endure the boring middle section. That's what separates the pure. I was built for the hunt, now I'm learning to consume. Natural selection demands I exit cause the coon. The predator in me is waking from the floor. No more falling it up with opening doors. No more flirting with extinction, I'm evolving here tonight. Movement without completion is just running from the fight. The organism that commits to finishing the art stops being a parasite and finally grows a heart. Competition is complete when you can beat yourself. When discipline devours dopamine. When the grind becomes your genetics. Adapt or become extinct. The choice was always yours. Hey! I've been Whoa! I've been collecting blueprints like a digital hoarder. Every new idea is different. Dopamine recorder, special forces mindset, but I'm stuck in the briefing. Never hit the ground, just rehearse what I'm believing. My graveyard's full of projects that I swore would change the game. Started strong like Vanguard units, ended up ashamed. The cavalry charges hard, but never holds the line. I confuse the research phase with crossing the finish line. Intelligence without action is just mental masturbation. Moving pieces on the board, but never claiming occupation. I can see the glitch, the code, the system's architecture, but knowledge without bleeding is just intellectual posture. Logistics of my mind say the supply chain's breaking down. Too many operations, zero boots upon the ground. Here's superiority in theory, but I never launched a strike. I'm the general who plans wars but never grabs a mic. No more plans without the pen. No more maps without the red. Execution over inspiration. Suffering is the foundation. Burn the ship, hold the siege. Turn the vision into deed. Infantry, not fantasy. War is won through agony. Voluntary suffering's the price that winners pay. Every master was a student who refused to walk away. When the boredom hits like friendly fire, that's when most retreat. But the gap between the dreamers and the doers is the heat. Espionage on my own mind. I study my disease. I start 100 battles, but I never clap to seize. The work that breaks you down is where the real bros begins. Commando in the dark, pushing through and discipline kicks. And I'm rewiring my brain. See, the dopamine's a liar, novelty's a sugar rush, but mastery's the fire. Every wreck that feels like death, every hour that feels slow, that's the siege. Warfare grinding with a real soldiers road. No more intellectual lyrics, I'm done with the parade. Time to hold the territory that my scattered focus focus, made the transformations. Now the switch, it's a daily execution. Every boring task completed is a micro-evolution. The code says comfort is the innovate. The glitch reveals pain builds femininity. System breakers don't just see, they bleed to set it free. I decoded my excuses, now I'm storming my own norm and me. Simple with a prevision, face the friction, the attrition. This is what I am sufficient. Discipline is my ammunition. From collector to constructor, from the plans to the structure. Every brick laid in the darkness turns the soft into the hardest. No more paths without the pain. No more maps without the rain. Execution over inspiration. Suffering is the foundation. Burn the ship, hold the siege. Turn the vision into deed. Infantry, not fantasy. War is won through agony. One breath, one step, one day deployed. Fill the graveyards, empty void. I get collected, dies the night. Execution machine takes flight. Hold the line, hold the line. Victory through the grind. Hold the line, hold the line, hold the line. Finish work, not refine mine. Build a mainframe brick by brick. Dopamine won't do the trick. Chase the dragon, lose the war. Legacy leads something more. Build a mainframe brick by brick. Dopamine won't do the trick. Chase the dragon, lose the war. Legacy needs something more. Hey, I'm a collector of beginners, never crossing finish lines. Got 100 brilliant visions scattered through my mind like mines. Every morning I'm a genius, every evening I'm a ghost. All this potential in my pocket, but I never lead a post. Rider switching, always flipping to the next exciting feed. Got the hunger of a builder, but the patience of a weed. Dopamine becomes my driver when the novelty appears, but the real work needs commitment, needs the grinding through the years. Blockchain promises forever, every link connects the last, but I break the chain by jumping when the honeymoon is past. My intention is a drone that only flies on maiden flights, crashing when the manual calls for steady boring height. Framework after framework, starting over every week. Got addicted to the sum and never trained for the technique. Not a lack of ammunition, not a shortage in my mind, just allergic to the valley where the masterpiece I'd find. Build a mainframe brick by brick. Dopamine won't do the trick. Chase the dragon, lose the war. Legacy needs something more. Build a mainframe brick by brick. Dopamine won't do the trick. Chase the dragon, lose the war. Legacy needs something more. Artificial intelligence can't replace the discipline. I'm missing like a network with no signal and transmission. Got a million times for research, but I never wrecked the code. Cryptography of greatness needs decoding on the road. Malware in my operating system. Great. What is new execution is the antivirus that I refuse to use. Intellectual masturbation feels like progress, but it's not moving without traction. Leaves you standing in the spot cemetery for the projects that I bury, cause they're hard. Switching to another tab before I ever play my card. You're drawn